You're here because you want to stay in crypto not for one season, not for one cycle, but for 10 years. 10 years sounds long, but the truth is most people disappear fast. One wave of FOMO, one hard drop, one exchange collapse, one hack, and they're gone. And I'll say it plainly, this market doesn't reward the smartest person in the room. It rewards the person who can last. If you want to survive and win in crypto investment, you need a set of principles that keeps you from getting knocked out before the real opportunities even arrive. First, understand the environment. Crypto is not like blue-chip stocks, and it's not like a savings account. Volatility here is normal. Prices can rise 30% in a day and fall 30% the next. Good news and bad news hit like rain. One famous person says one sentence and the market shifts. One new regulation appears and everything shakes. If you enter expecting stability, you'll live in fear. But if you enter believing volatility is the entry fee, you'll become calm, because you'll finally be aligned with reality. I want you to remember one sentence. The number one goal is survival, not profit. Survival. Because profit only goes to the people who are still standing. One mistake won't necessarily kill you, but one mistake with a position that's too large can end you instantly. Many people don't lose everything because they picked the wrong coin. They lose everything because they bet like losing was impossible. And in crypto, losing is always possible. So here is the first rule. Limit your risk. You need a pain ceiling for every decision. Ask yourself, if this drops 50%, can I still sleep? If it drops 80%, does my life fall apart? If the answer is yes, you're betting with your future and sacrificing your present peace. Reduce your position. Other people might call you scared, but I call you smart. 10 years in crypto is a game of discipline, not a game of showing off. Second rule, don't confuse confidence with recklessness. Confidence comes from a plan. Recklessness comes from emotion. You see a coin pumping and you fear missing out, so you buy fast. You see the market bleeding red and you panic, so you sell fast. That's not investing. That's being controlled. If you want to go long-term, you need a decision system you create while you're calm, and you must respect that system when you're not calm. Third rule, think in cycles, not in weeks. Crypto has a rhythm. Euphoria, collapse, despair, accumulation, and then euphoria again. Many people lose during euphoria because they think, this time is different. Many people lose during despair because they think, crypto is dead. 10 years requires you to see through the crowd's emotions. When people laugh at the market, you learn. When people scream to the moon, you check your risk. Now let's talk about tools that prevent your emotions from driving the car. DCA and rebalancing. DCA means buying steadily over time with an amount you decide in advance, whether the market makes you excited or scared. It sounds boring. Yes, but boring is the friend of longevity. Rebalancing means when one asset rises so much that it becomes too large a percentage of your portfolio, you reduce it to restore your intended allocation. And when another part drops deeply but your thesis still holds, you add according to plan. In other words, you turn discipline into a near-automatic mechanism. Buy on schedule, trim when overheated, and keep your risk profile aligned with your strategy. That is long-term crypto investment, doing the right things long enough with risk controlled. You also need a profit-taking rule and a do-nothing rule. Sometimes the best action is no action. When you already have a plan, doing nothing is still a high-quality decision because it protects you from trading for entertainment, trading just to relieve anxiety. Next, filter noise. You can't survive 10 years if you drink the news every day like espresso shots. Crypto news is often designed to trigger you. Urgent, breaking, about to pump, about to crash. It makes you feel like you must act now, and then you start trading to reduce stress, not to increase probability. I want you to do something very simple. Limit your news windows. Limit your sources and have days with zero social media. You will feel your mind become cleaner and your decisions become sharper. Now we move to the part many people avoid: psychology. You can have a great strategy, but if you can't handle drawdowns, you'll sabotage your strategy. In crypto, 60% to 80% drawdowns are not rare. I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm saying it so you can prepare. Preparation means you write your rules in advance. When it drops to this level, what do I do? When it rises to that level, what do I do? When bad news hits, what exactly do I check? You do this before the storm arrives. Don't wait until your heart is racing to start thinking. One powerful habit: write down why you bought. Not because someone said so, but a real thesis. Winners aren't people who never feel fear. Winners are people who know what they're doing. Now let's talk about something that can wipe you out even if everything else is correct. Security. In crypto, security is part of your strategy, not an accessory. Use a hardware wallet for serious holdings, turn on 2FA, protect your seed phrase. Another rule: separate life money from investment money, so you're not forced to sell at the bottom. And don't ignore taxes and compliance. Track your transactions and build the habit early. Over 10 years, losing because you ignored paperwork is one of the most unnecessary ways to fail in crypto investment. Here's the mindset shift. Imagine you are the fund manager of your own life. A manager has rules, keeps a journal, follows discipline, and controls risk. You don't need to predict everything, you only need to avoid the fatal mistakes. Now let me make it concrete with a simple checklist. Clear risk limits, a cycle-based plan, DCA and rebalancing rules, noise filters, mental preparation for drawdowns, serious security, an emergency fund, tax tracking, and continuous learning. If you can do those things, you'll overcome what kills most people: urgency. You'll build a process, and that process will carry you through one cycle after another. That is how you win in crypto investment. Not with one lucky shot, but with 10 years of discipline. And here's the realistic promise. You can't control the market, but you can control your risk. You can't control the news, but you can control your attention. You can't control emotions showing up, but you can control your actions. Do those 3 things, and you give yourself a real chance to stay for 10 years. Believe me, this is the biggest advantage you can create for yourself.